It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Jamie is a leading Tampa Bay real estate agent and featured on the Wall Street Journal's list of top 100 real estate agents in the nation. Jamie invites you to list your home with him today and learn more at tampabayradio.com. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Maloney.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday, and thanks for checking into That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Each weekday morning at 8 a.m. and soon to be each weekday morning at 7 a.m. starting on April 25th. Announced that last week and been promoting that pretty heavily over the last couple weeks. So if you have any interest in getting involved with the show, we are looking for new sponsors to highlight with the move to a 2-hour-a-day format. Keep in mind the show's website, tampabayradio.com. Over there, all shows are available on demand. And also you can see all the guests that have been on this program. And I think we're approaching 400 or 500 plus different guests on this program. It's hard to keep track of them all. We've had so many amazing professionals, and each just like to thank each and every one of them that have been on the program, and also thank you, the listener, for helping make the show, a staple within the Tampa business community. Joined in studio this morning, I got Stella Giudicelli back with me today. Stella, good morning to you. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Jamie. Good morning, everyone. It's good to be on the show. I haven't come for a little while.
Yeah, Stella has been out for a little bit of time. Stella, what do you think about the move to 2 hours a day? Are we going to see you in here each and every morning at 7 a.m.?
So not each morning, but definitely going to be participating.
Yeah, well, very excited about that move. And again, thanks to all the listeners, partners, and sponsors for making that possible. Well, we got a show today with Bob Enriquez. He has served 4 terms as a state representative in the Florida legislature and later headed up the Pinellas and Pasco Counties Division of the Department of Children and Families. In addition, Bob served 2 stints as head football coach at Tampa Catholic and twice led the Crusaders to the state title game. Today, he is our Hillsborough County property appraiser. Bob, welcome to the program today.
Well, thank you, Jamie. It's a pleasure to be here. I've looked forward to this, and it's early in the morning, but that's okay. I have 3 little ones at home, so that they get me up either way.
So talk to me. You've been in office now since 2012, and you were in the state representative before that. How did you find a life in politics?
Well, it's really, for me, it's been a lifetime commitment to public service. I know that sounds like a line, but it's really true, and that doesn't necessarily always mean elected politics. It's I'm a 5th generation Tampa, Hillsborough County native, and I always wanted to go away to college. I had a great opportunity to go away to Princeton University. I'm not sure exactly how I got in there, other than I had a Z at the end of my name and knew how to knock people down effectively. But I always wanted to come back and give something back. You don't do anything alone in this life, and so I really kind of have always been involved in the community, whether it be in my coaching, mentoring young people, working in my neighborhood associations, you name it, and then eventually, I ran for office and have been fortunate and blessed to serve this community as both a state rep, and then right now as the property appraiser. It's a fantastic job. I really thank the voters for giving me this opportunity, and I have a great job, great office, great team, and very proud of what we've accomplished over the last few years.
5th generation Tampa native.
Yes, sir. We go way back. Our roots are deep in the community. Most of my family, as with anyone who's a native of this area, probably worked in the cigar factories or had something to do with old-time Tampa, so absolutely.
Yeah, we don't see too many 5th generation Tampa natives. We don't see too many Tampa natives, period, in this area. So, I mean...
no, I don't think we're allowed to gather in groups larger than 3.
Right. Now, you've, in your public life here, you've served in the state representative, now property appraiser. What drew you into the property appraiser's office?
Well, honestly, I wasn't looking necessarily to run for office again. It's not, it's not one of the things you necessarily aspire to do. I guess some people do, but that I was perfectly happy. I'd had the great opportunity to work in the private sector for a number of years after leaving the legislature, and then I was fortunate. Governor Chris at the time, along with Bob Butterworth, asked me to take over the Department of Children and Families for Pasco and Pinellas County for a few years. And so, which was a challenging but great experience, running an office, running an agency of that size and that nature. Really prepared me for the property appraiser's job in many ways. And I think probably what attracted me was the fact that this was an opportunity to run a large agency that was really not political in nature. And one of the things that I was interested in doing was to take any politics out of the equation. It wasn't about whether you're a Democrat or Republican. It really is about being fair and equitable. And at the same time, it was an administrative job, and that's largely what it is. It's team building. It's running a good, clean operation. That's making sure that you're a good steward of the people's money. But it was also a challenge because it was an office that was in some turmoil and had some issues coming in. So I think that's really what attracted me to the job. And frankly, my brother had worked there many, many years prior to me coming there. He had left, actually passed away now, but had worked there. So I kind of grew up around the office. I knew an awful lot about the property appraiser's office for many, many years, and knew how important it was to the lives, the everyday lives of people in this county.
So take me back to 2012 when you were elected. You walk into the property appraiser's office. What did you see that needed addressed?
Well, the first and foremost, you had an office that obviously had gone through a difficult time, unfortunately, in the media and elsewhere, as a result of the turmoil that took place with my predecessor, unfortunately. And so it became a kind of a contentious campaign as a result of that. So the first thing to do was to come in and try to just kind of settle the place down. The last thing that needed to happen was that someone walked in that was heavy-handed, that thought they had all the answers, and that was just going to start firing people and cleaning house, as people said. So it really was a matter of I knew that first of all, the office from a technical standpoint, from the constitutional charge that the office had, was fulfilling its duty. And most people looked at it and said, well, the office is being fair and equitable, but it's a mess in other places. So the first thing that we did was to start a strategic planning process to really kind of determine what our strengths and weaknesses, where we needed to head as an office. And I started that with a morale survey, which was interesting, coming in after a regime that had been there for 16 years, coming off of a difficult time. But I wanted to grow a strategic plan organically from within. And so we asked the employees, give us feedback. And we went through a pretty arduous process of getting their feedback and then sitting them back down and saying, here's the feedback we received, and give you a second bite at the apple. And then let's start that as the basis for our strategic planning process to address some of the issues, the long-term issues that we had, that many agencies have these days, public agencies, of creating career paths, growing from within, addressing an aging workforce, people that were going to be leaving. We're losing a lot of our institutional knowledge. We had about 30% of our office and dropped, about the deferred retirement system for the state, that we're going to be leaving over the next 3 to 5 years, starting back when I started in 2013. So that really was the start or the basis for what we've done between then and now. And then finding better ways to do the things that we do. Would it be bringing in, online a new website, technological changes, which allowed us to be more lean and more
I got to admit,
effective.
the website, I'm a realtor, so I use your website every single day. Right. It's a great upgrade from what we had before. Tell us about some of the upgrades that the website features today that it used to have.
Well, I appreciate that. We're really proud of it. The website's really gained national attention. It's one of the best government websites anywhere. And the big thing that we wanted to do, the functionality, one of the first things that I did, or I talked about during the campaign, was to upgrade the website. It was 16 years old. It was antiquated in many, many ways. It was functional, but it was more functional for professionals, necessarily who used it every day, than just everyday use. And so we went through a very contemplative process of finding the right folks to partner with to help us to redo the website, hiring an on-site person to be a webmaster part-time, to help us we'd have flexibility to change and grow the website as it went forward as the time changed. And really trying to make sure that we encompassed all of the functionality that the old website had, but bring it up to date. So I think the best thing about today's website now is that it's very intuitive. So for instance, the search engine, we have a great deal of information that we house.
Yeah, it begins to recognize the address as you punch them in there. That's a huge benefit.
Some of those kinds
itself.
of things, really all the things that people have become used to within modern websites. We wanted to try to bring that into a public sector website, and then also open up a world of information that's out there. So it really has become a portal that folks would use for many other things other than just finding out the value of their property. And so we're proud of it. We're continuing to develop it. One of the things I think was very important was we didn't want to just put something in place and create havoc. Mm-hmm. So we ran the beta site concurrent with the old website for a long period of time and brought in focus groups, people like yourself that are professionals, whether it be finance, insurance, real estate, and just general citizens to give us feedback on it. And so if there was anything that was wrong with the new site or things that needed to be added, we could do that beforehand. So we thought this through as best we could. We're still changing and still adding things as we go along. And if there are things out there with yourself or other realtors, or if you're on a website, if you're on the Orange County website, Property Appraiser's website, or somebody else's, and you say, gosh, they have a link that takes us to this. Is this something we can add? We're more than willing to try to do that.
Now, your office also has earned the Certificate of Excellence in Assessment Administration Award, the International Association of Assessing Officers' highest designation, one of only 50 appraiser offices in the country that receive that. What do you attest this success to?
Yeah, it's really international. 50, those numbers, I think it might be less than that, internationally, that have that designation. One of those things, a lot of those processes were in place. A lot of things we've added since then, including the new website, including our desktop appraisal or review system that we've co-created. That's a national model. We've won a national award for that as well. Part of that was I thought that it was important, and I kind of go back to the Wizard of Oz. I don't remember which of the characters, but where they said they had everything within them, but they needed a medal. Well, we kind of needed a medal. I thought our office needed something to rally around, something that could show that we could show to the world the kind of talent that we have within that office, and we really. We set a goal in our vision statement to become the nation's leading property appraiser's office, and that was one of the steps along that goal is to be recognized for the fine practices that we have there, and so it's a very arduous process of providing to the evaluators and the International Assessors Association what all the things that we do, how we do it, and it's also it's not only it's a designation that goes on. You have to, after a number of years, after I think 5 years, you have to then go through the process again to continue to keep that designation. So it's something that will keep us sharp as we go forward. And
I see that you've established a sinkhole registry, something that is of great importance to us here in the Tampa Bay region. I know Hernando County has that. I want to talk with you about that when we come back from the break. Currently in studio here with Bob Henriquez, Hillsborough County Property Appraiser, and you can learn more about him at bobhenriquez.com. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Maloney of That Business Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING. In an age when the good and the better vie for attention, it is the best that stands out. The best of Tampa Bay from Proudly Florida is the love story for the city of Tampa, celebrating success, sharing achievements, a tribute to enterprise and community spirit. Let Proudly Florida showcase your business to your city, your nation, and the world. For more information, email info@proudlyflorida.com and be sure to visit proudlyflorida.com.
Have you ever tried to buy a home for your family only to find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage loan? You thought that after 20 years as a customer of your bank, they would help you when you needed it the most, right? Unfortunately, the banks of today are not the banks of our parents and grandparents, and our relationships with them just don't matter anymore. My name is Frank Cotto, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Lending Group. We all may need a bank, but we also need a Frank, and that's what I'm here to do for you today. Lincoln Lending Group will waive all of your lending fees, which include your mortgage, application fee, your underwriting fee, processing fees, and any bank points. Just call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E, and we'll drop the fee.
Teresa Turner is a certified public accountant and the founder of Tax Happens, a boutique-style CPA firm providing small businesses and individuals with hands-on, personalized tax and accounting services. Although we would love to tell you how happy their clients are, we would like you to see for yourself. Tax Happens has 21 Google reviews and a 4.8-star Google rating, 17 Yelp reviews and a 5-star Yelp rating, 38 Facebook reviews and a 4.9-star Facebook rating. What sets Tax Happens apart is number 1, upfront pricing, 2, clear deadlines, 3, personally available year-round, and number 4, a willingness to empower clients to do as much or as little as they desire. Visit taxhappens.com for more information.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Taseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktaseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. 4757. Rick Taseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project. Hi, my name is Jamie Maloney. I'm the host of That Business Show, a radio show that works with business professionals to get them on air. Starting April 25th, That Business Show is expanding to air 2 hours a day from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and will work with a select group of business professionals to enhance their community exposure, branding, and credibility. That Business Show's branding package offers businesses and organizations a cost-effective package which includes regular on-air appearances, followed up with an edited video of the appearance and press release, along with daily audio and video commercials, social media management and development, monthly networking event, professional photography, and much more. Only a 3-month commitment is required, and you will have a lifetime of benefits, including a collection of videos that will not only save you time answering the same questions over and over again, but will also enhance the SEO of your website. In addition, you will become part of a network of professionals with the ability to request introductions to any of the guests that come through this program. I only have a limited number of packages available to sell, so act now. Call me today at 813-760-8516 or email me, jamie@tampabayradio.com, to get on board today. Again, that's 813-760-8516 or jamie@tampabayradio.com.
From the RP Funding Traffic Network.
Morning traffic remains slow on southbound I-75 in the area of State Road 52 due to a crash just south of that intersection. Overturned tanker truck off to the right-hand side. Also in Pinellas Park, northbound 49th Street at US 19, one lane block there. And a crash being cleared on Gandy Boulevard at Grand. That, of course, is just east of US 19. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uderick, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Stand Up to Cancer.
I'm Tony Goldwyn. 20 years ago, when my mom had lung cancer, she didn't have many choices. But today, you do. If you've been diagnosed with lung cancer, please visit standuptocancer.org/lung cancer to learn more.
Today, sunny and warmer in the afternoon, high 74. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, low 57. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high 78.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Currently in studio with Bob Henriquez, Hillsborough County Property Appraiser. You can learn more about him over at bobhenriquez.com. And Bob, another one of your accomplishments since being in office since 2012 is you partnered with County Commissioner Al Higginbottom to pass a county sinkhole ordinance for registry and tracking. How does this work?
Well, first of all, I want to the commissioner. I owe him a great debt of gratitude for reaching out to me after I took office. He had heard me talk about the fact that Hernando Pasco County had a sinkhole ordinance in which they could track subsidence activity. It's the catch-all is people often say sinkholes, but subsidence is really the correct term. So they have something going on in their property that doesn't seem right, and so I thought it was important that in Hillsborough County that we would have something similar. And obviously, we don't have quite the pervasive issue that they have in Hernando and Pasco, but we certainly have areas that are prone to those types of activities. So he said, well, I really like the fact that you talked about that. I'll help you pass the ordinance if you guys will kind of do the legwork and getting all the information together. And basically how it works is that if in the past we kept at the property appraiser's office a running registry, for lack of a better term, of properties in which a property owner proactively came to us and said, I suspect that I have an issue. In fact, I know that I have an issue on my property with a sinkhole or other type of subsidence. And here's an engineering report that shows that I have this problem, and this is the cost to cure it. Can you reduce my assessment as a result of the stigma resulting from that? And we would, and we do, for a period of time until somehow it's dealt with, remediated, and then we'll raise the value back up concurrent to that. But the problem is it's really an incomplete list. So if you were to look at that and say, well, okay, so we have X number, 1,200 sinkholes or something in Hillsborough County, in the county proper. Well, no, we probably have a lot more than that, but that's only for people that would actually bring them forward. So my thought was, and what Hernando and Pasco had done, is to pass an ordinance that would say that if you suspect that you have an issue, you reach out to your insurance company, you have an investigation done by a professional, licensed professional, that at that point you would pull an investigative permit, that they would come in, whoever that person, your insurance company brought or whoever you hired, to come in and take a look, and then we would track it from that point forward. So if you had suspected that you had a crack in your wall or some other issue, and you had it investigated by a trained professional, and it turned out that it really wasn't a sinkhole, it was something else, settling some other defect in the house or business, that then at that point you could close out the permit, and somebody that looked back historically could say, and if you're a realtor, God forbid you show up 5 minutes late to your showing. I know you guys never show up late, but if you did, and that person next door comes out and says, "Oh, you don't want to buy that house. They've got a sinkhole. Or they have a ghost or whatever. Somebody was shot in that house." So you can actually look back historically and say, no, you can show to the person, yeah, there was an investigation, but there was nothing there. Or if there was something, this is how it was dealt with.
Where do you find that on the site? Because when you go to the Hernando County site, it says it right there at the top of the tax record. This had a sinkhole claim. Yeah, how does it work on the Hillsborough County site?
There's a button on top, a search button, that if you hit it, it'll show you subsidence, and then you can go to the subsidence side. You can type in, do a search based on identifying information, and it'll pull up that property and surrounding properties on a map, and it'll show whether it'll show whether we have a record of an issue there, whether it's been remediated to the best of our knowledge, or whether it's not, and then it also has a link over to the clerk's site that you can look and see if there have been permits pulled, and that's those types of things.
From the county appraiser's perspective, when you have a known sinkhole on a property, what does that do to the value of the home?
Well, certainly it lowers the value.
Right, but does it push it down to a zero? I've seen some that have a zero.
Yeah, it could be zero. It depends on the cost to cure and the type of property that it is. But it will reduce it a great deal, and up to as much as that. If it's it could be a possible total loss, or it's uninhabitable. So it depends. What then happens is, let's say that then the cost to cure is $400,000, and you finally go through the whole, unfortunately, the process of insurance companies and lawyers and all that stuff to finally get it fixed. But once it's presumably, and that's what big part of this, that you're going to be able to track to see whether or not the prescribed cure is actually how it was handled. That's wasn't necessarily the case in the past, but you could at least track it. But let's assume that you had the proper engineering report. You had an engineer that tracked it all the way through. They signed off that after the company that fixed it came in, did whatever they do, the pinning and grouting, all that kind of good stuff. And now the property is brought back to standard. Well, at that point, then it'll go back up to the value that it should be, based on surrounding properties and sales, and then. Normally what will happen, there'll be what's called a stigma adjustment, like a 10% adjustment that'll stay on that property for a period of time, because
even after the
afterwards. And that, because again, you're never going to completely convince that next buyer that the sinkholes was
fixed. I've always argued, though, that if you're in a sinkhole area, and it's bound to happen eventually, if my home's already stilted and remediated, that's better than one that's not. But it's hard to convince.
Yeah, and that's the truth may be the case, but this is about value, and for the buyer, there is that. So that's sometimes you'll see that if you go back and it was a property that had subsidence activity on it in the past that was fixed, you may see that adjustment made for a period of time afterwards. It'll go away eventually because that stigma will go away.
So this sinkhole list database is a pretty new enterprise of your initiative. Mm-hmm. So pretty incomplete, but the goal is to have the information.
Yes, and so that's absolutely, it's very intuitive of you. It is incomplete because we have the ones that proactively came to us in the past, and then we have anything since this ordinance went into place a little over a year ago.
Okay.
That we're tracking forward.
But it's a good
so
start.
It's still, it's a good start.
Exactly. Okay.
Good information. Got to take another quick break, but coming back from the break, I got a lot more here with Bob Henriquez, Hillsborough County Property Appraiser. Learn more about him, bobhenriquez.com. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
Right now for information on the Vantage Therapeutic Walk-In Bath. Call 800-USA-BATH now or see us on the web at 800usabath.com.
From the RP Funding Traffic Network.
Still a lot of slow traffic on southbound I-75 approaching State Road 52. That's due to that overturned truck off to the right-hand side just south of State Road 52. Also a crash in Pinellas County, northbound 49th Street at US 19 blocking a lane. And the exit ramp to 5th Avenue North from southbound 275 crashed there in the right-hand lane blocking as well. See traffic problems? Call the entry firm of Abrahamson and Udork. Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Bill Curry Ford.
Tampa Bay is making the switch to Bill Curry Ford.
I saw the car, I took it for a test drive, and after that it was about 60 minutes. I can't wait to drive home my new car from Bill Curry Ford.
Great prices and a great experience, only at Bill Curry Ford.
Today, sunny and warmer in the afternoon, high 74. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, low 57. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high 78.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And we're back to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Each weekday morning at 8 a.m. here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. You can learn more about the show at TampaBayRadio.com.
Bob, so it is a new thing to me that property owners facing a potential sinkhole can actually come to you to have their property tax reduced. So I would definitely know to tell my clients about it. But other than that, who tell property owners that this is an opportunity with your office?
Right. Well, Stella, it's a good question. In the past, prior to my administration, you could have kind of had to intuitively know, okay, this is something that's affecting my property value, and come to us. Now, what will happen in the case of the new ordinance, we receive all the permits that go through the county or all in the city, what have you. So whether somebody's putting on an addition or building a new house, those types of things, putting a new roof on. So we'll now receive those permits, from the investigation. So at that point, we'll then proactively send out a letter or contact the owner and say, listen, did you know you may qualify for a reduction in your property appraisal until such time as your subsidence issue is dealt with.
Very good. So you do let the homeowners know,
Absolutely.
and then it's up to them to contact you to have.
Yeah, and we rather than proactively reducing their assessment, this way, because there may be some case in which someone wouldn't want to, but we'll adjust it. And generally, once that happens, it becomes part of the natural course of things that people will then reach back out to us, and then we'll have the engineering report, find out what the cost to cure is, and then that gives us a basis to reduce the property appraisal.
Now, I'm curious from your office's perspective, how do you appraise homes? I'm used to the traditional home loan and they get an appraisal and then, that's the value of the home. But, you're doing mass appraisals here. Are the appraisers at the office going through and doing individual appraisals on each home? How does this work?
Well, it's kind of a different world. The basis or sort of the tenets of appraisal are the same, the approaches to value. But we're in a mass appraisal world. You're talking about, well, in our case, 516,000 properties, and 300 or so thousand of those that are residential in nature. So we're going to use the approaches to value. Most of the time, the most reliable is the sales comparison approach, and we'll in residential cases, which are the ones that people are most familiar with. So we're going to take a whole range of sales within a particular quote neighborhood. And look at those to derive a value for a particular property.
That's what I'm saying. So you're not necessarily looking at each home individually. You're going to kind of get a sense of a home that's like this, and then say this is the value for this homes. That's what I figured.
And so it's larger. Obviously, it becomes largely it's computer driven because the universe becomes much larger. Now we do, and we have folks that are. When we go into a value adjustment board process, or somebody comes in and challenges, uses their constitutional or right and legal right to challenge an appraisal, then it kind of becomes a more like an actual
specific appraisal on that home, right?
Then we're going to dig in deeper, but. In general, we're like you say, it's a mass appraisal world, but we're still using, the cost, the income approach, the sales comparison approach, but it's on a much larger scale than an individual appraiser would.
Right. Do you actually go and walk around the properties?
Well, we are charged with every 5 years physically inspecting every property in Hillsborough County. Mm-hmm. Now, that being said, again, with 516,000 properties. Those reviews, they used to be called triennials when it was a 3-year process. We actually do it in a 4-year process. We cut the county in quarters. Those really amount to drive-bys in the old way of doing business. Now we've developed a desktop review process, which is really probably I know that it's state of the art. It's really cutting edge. And back in 2010, the legislature changed the laws to allow us to utilize enhanced aerial photography to do reviews. And so similar to Jamie, who's sitting here with 2 monitors in front of him, we have folks that sit and literally are in a kind of a drive-by environment, as if they were in their car doing what appraisers would do in the past, but are doing that at their desktop with all of the information that we have available, including enhanced both overhead and side view, or what they call ortho, enhanced photography, as well as a street view, and then all the information about the house that they would have on a property record card, and they can actually then do those reviews right at their desk. And so it's a combination now of desktop and the old style drive-bys for the reviews. Now, of course, we pick up any new sales, any permits that come through, new construction. Those we physically go out on. So it's really a combination of all those things.
What percent of the community roughly challenges the appraisals each year?
It's a very low percentage. In fact, we had this past year the lowest on record in terms of number of value adjustment board hearings, and that includes value as well as exemptions, because a lot of what we do, probably 50% of what we do are exemptions. We had about 2,300 last year. Again, that's out of 516,000 properties of both value and exemptions. To give you an idea, about 300 of those we solved before it ever went forward. Now, Another 300 or so were solved at the hearing, at the Value Adjustment Board hearing, in which a property owner or their representative, about 75% of these are filed by what are called tax reps, people that represent owners, for a fee.
Do you ever get owners that challenge the value and want it to be pushed up?
Absolutely.
Why would somebody want to challenge and push it up? Because it's going to increase your taxes. I understand people want to push the value down to save on taxes. Why would somebody want to push it up?
Well, in certain cases, they may have a sale pending.
But that's not really a place where we really look for.
No, I know. But it happens from time to time. Not generally, but it could be either way. Just going back to the numbers, and then we have about 1,300 of those those Value Adjustment Board hearings that are withdrawn prior to the hearing ever taking place. So a very few, a relatively low number actually go before the Value Adjustment Board hearing. We're just finishing up those hearings as we speak for this year. To give you an idea, we had 2,300. Miami-Dade had 70,000.
Wow.
And there are different arguments as to why that's the case, but to some extent, it's the system down there is so out of whack that it's grown a life of its own, and people file because they know they're going to get reductions regardless of whether the numbers are right or wrong. I think in some cases, just because the system is just sort of out of whack. But we feel as though it's because we're doing a very good job of being fair and equitable, and that doesn't count the numbers of folks that once they hear, because we keep our values on our website year round, and somewhere around June, July, that number is pretty much set as though as it will be on your trim notice that you receive in August, and we have hundreds of thousands of people that will contact us throughout the year, and we'll make adjustments as things go along to make sure we're correct.
Now, you mentioned exemptions. Everybody, I think, pretty much knows about the homestead exemption. Sure. And in the past few years or several years, the Portability Act was passed, or whatever that goes along with the homestead exemption. Can you explain the portability, how this works? I'm not really familiar how this works, even as a realtor.
Well, it really flows from the Save Our Homes cap that took place back, a number of years ago when values started increasing at these, sort of out of the ordinary numbers, and so a property may have gone up 25% in 1 year. And back then, it was very simple. Your adjuster market value and your taxable value were synonymous, minus whatever exemptions you may have, homestead and what have you. So people literally were quoted getting taxed out of their homes, particularly seniors and savers, as we know. So the cap came about, the constitutional amendment that said that your taxable value could not go up more than 3% or CPI inflation in a given year. To give you an idea, this past year I think it was 0.7% was the CPI. So that was a good thing for homeowners and for property owners in general. What happened from that is that then you had this great tax benefit.
They were getting stuck in their homes.
They were getting stuck because you didn't want to leave your home because you would lose this valuable tax benefit that you had earned through Save Our Homes. So then came about this idea of portability, which passed. Which is kind of the funny thing about that. It passed, and then the economy tanked, and a lot of people weren't gaining any kind of cap room. Mm-hmm. But basically, and it's kind of complicated. But basically, you can take the difference between your taxable value and your assessed value, you can is your cap number, and you could basically port or take that amount with you to your next home. Either be dollar for dollar up to $500,000 if you're upsizing, or a percentage if you're downsizing to your next home to lower that the initial tax.
So it's up to $500,000, because I was thinking, what if a scenario is you've been living in a $100,000 home, you've got a great job, you've amassed a lot of money, and now you can afford $1 million home. Can you take that cap to the $1 million home and pay taxes at the $100,000 home rate, or is it only up to $500,000?
Yeah, I mean, in the scenario, I don't think in that case you would actually build that much cap, but conceivably, yeah, you could take up to $500,000 with you. But again, what it does, your cap resets when you reinstitute your homestead somewhere else. So at that point, then you can lower your initial taxable value by that cap number, whatever it may be. And it's important that people think you have 2 years to port. You have 2 tax years. Tax years mean January 1st being that magical date. So let's say you vacate your homestead on December 28th. You have until December 31st of the following calendar year to port. It's not till December 28th, 2 years 2 calendar years from that December 28th. And that's important to know.
Now, you mentioned we talked about the homestead exemption, the one that applies to most of the community. What are some of the other exemptions out there that are available to people that they may not be aware of?
There are a number of others. Obviously, if you're a nonprofit, church, school, those kinds of things, they're exempt from property tax. And then there are others that you apply for. Blind disability, there's a widow exemption. There are exemptions, a number of them that have come about in the last few years having to do with our deployed military and our families of deployed military or those that have lost loved ones fighting for our freedom. There are first responders as well, and there are some senior exemptions too for folks that are, again, seniors that have been in their homes a long time and their property values are going up.
Are notices sent out to the homes that let people know of these exemptions, or what's the best way to know about these? Just contact the office?
Yeah, and then go on the website. They're all there in explanations, or you can call us and we'll run through them to see if somebody may or may not qualify for those. Give them, and in most cases, you can now apply online for those exemptions, which has been another thing that we've really improved in the time that I've been there. Both that as well as tangible personal property for businesses to be able to apply online now. So there's a number of them there, and every year the legislature is considering some new ones or enhancing the ones that already exist. So I would say that's the best way. We're trying to find better ways to reach out to folks. We'll go out and do public events for seniors. At senior citizen centers, different types of events to get that information out for to parts of the community that may or may not know about these things.
From what age do you consider someone a senior?
I believe it's 65, isn't
65?
it? It's 65, okay. I believe, yeah. In those cases, yeah.
That's good to know.
Well, got to take another break here, but coming back from the break, Bob, you're up for an election here coming up in November here, so I want to hear about what your plans are for the office right now and what you plan to do in your second term if you get elected.
Absolutely.
Hopefully you do. So,
thank you.
Currently in studio here with Bob Henriquez, Hillsborough County Property Appraiser. You can learn more about him, bobhenriquez.com. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Maloney of That Business Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING. In an age when the good and the better vie for attention, it is the best that stands out. The best of Tampa Bay from Proudly Florida is the love story for the city of Tampa, celebrating success, sharing achievements, a tribute to enterprise and community spirit. Let Proudly Florida showcase your business to your city, your nation, and the world. For more information, email info@proudlyflorida.com and be sure to visit proudlyflorida.com.
Have you ever tried to buy a home for your family only to find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage loan? You thought that after 20 years as a customer of your bank, they would help you when you needed it the most, right? Unfortunately, the banks of today are not the banks of our parents and grandparents, and our relationships with them just don't matter anymore. My name is Frank Cotto, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Lending Group. We all may need a bank, but we also need a Frank, and that's what I'm here to do for you today. Lincoln Lending Group will waive all of your lending fees, which include your mortgage, application fee, your underwriting fee, processing fees, and any bank points. Just call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E, and we'll drop the fee.
Teresa Turner is a certified public accountant and the founder of Tax Happens, a boutique-style CPA firm providing small businesses and individuals with hands-on, personalized tax and accounting services. Although we would love to tell you how happy their clients are, we would like you to see for yourself. Tax Happens has 21 Google reviews and a 4.8-star Google rating, 17 Yelp reviews and a 5-star Yelp rating, 38 Facebook reviews and a 4.9-star Facebook rating. What sets Tax Happens apart is number 1, upfront pricing, 2, clear deadlines, 3, personally available year-round, and number 4, a willingness to empower clients to do as much or as little as they desire. Visit taxhappens.com for more information.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all All work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YagerFlooring.com.
If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Taseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktaseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. Rick Taseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project. Hi, my name is Jamie Maloney. I'm the host of That Business Show, a radio show that works with business professionals to get them on air. Starting April 25th, That Business Show is expanding to air 2 hours a day from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and will work with a select group of business professionals to enhance their community exposure, branding, and credibility. That Business Show's branding package offers businesses and organizations a cost-effective package which includes regular on-air appearances, followed up with an edited video of the appearance and press release, along with daily audio and video commercials, social media management and development, monthly networking event, professional photography, and much more. Only a 3-month commitment is required, and you will have a lifetime of benefits, including a collection of videos that will not only save you time answering the same questions over and over again, but will also enhance the SEO of your website. In addition, you will become part of a network of professionals with the ability to request introductions to any of the guests that come through this program. I only have a limited number of packages available to sell, so act now. Call me today at 813-760-8516 or email me, jamie@tampabayradio.com, to get on board today. Again, that's 813-760-8516 or jamie@tampabayradio.com.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Crash in Hudson on State Road 52 at Little Road. Also one in Seminole on northbound Starkey, north of Park Boulevard, blocking the right lane. Northbound 49th Street at US 19, one lane block there, and the exit ramp to 5th Avenue North from southbound 275. Crash there on the shoulder. And southbound 75, still very slow in Pasco County near State Road 52. See traffic problems? Call the entry firm of Abrahamson, Uterek, Hillsborough Traffic, tip line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
While many rose up with violence, he sat down for peace. Mahatma Gandhi reached out with the strength he cultivated within his soul. So, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Today, sunny and warmer in the afternoon, high 74. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, low 57. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high 78.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Currently in studio with Bob Henriquez, Hillsborough County Property Appraiser, and you can learn more about him, bobhenriquez.com.
As a real estate agent, I'm in contact with your office a lot. So either through your website or if I have any questions at all, it's so easy to give a call and people are very much willing to assist us. I would like to give a special shout out to Keith Enkrum. He's my buddy because he's just if I leave a voicemail, he's going to come back to me in a timely manner. He's very clear in how he's explaining, and I can feel how much he's dedicated to making my life easy and move any situations that we have on a real estate deal forward. So thank you so much for having people like this in your office. And there's also Marilyn, who I think is your exemption manager.
Yes.
I've talked to her just once, but she was really, really great. So good job on your staff, Bob.
So I appreciate that, and I'm sure it means a lot to those folks as well. But it really speaks to the professionalism and the talent that I have in the office. I'll make sure I let Keith know that if he didn't actually hear this, he won't because he's working. But,
yeah, right. He's answering
someone's
questions, helping someone right now. And so one of the things I've seen as well, and I haven't been to any of your classes, I forget if someone told me about them or I received an email or I simply saw that on your website, that you have classes for the public to really understand what you do for them and to help them. Is that correct? Is that a new thing?
Yeah, it's a fairly new thing. Something that I came up with, the idea that we could proactively reach out and allow, whether it be just the average citizen that wanted to come in and kind of demystify the process for them in a classroom setting, or for professionals. We had one on commercial real estate last week, and we'll continue to have those tangible personal property exemptions. And again, it could be for a professional that deals with it every day, or just the average citizen that may just want some tips on how they might be able to navigate the system to make sure that they're getting a fair and equitable assessment or lower their property taxes at the end of the day.
Now, you're up for your second term in election this November. What are your plans, first of all, going forward? What are you currently working on right now? And in the second term, what are you planning to implement and do?
Well, I mean, right now we're just finishing up now with March is the deadline for homestead exemption applications. So we've been very busy with that as well, and then we'll kind of go full bore into getting ready for the trim notice, in which we'll send out the notice of proposed taxes that'll come out in August. So we're going to continue to do the good work that we're doing. I think that from the standpoint of going forward, what I would like to see us continue to do is find more and more ways to implement technology that will allow us to do a better job of assessing property and harnessing all the things that are out there, the ways to do business. The other thing that again we're going to continue to do, and you spoke to Keith and Marilyn, these are longtime veterans in the office, and it really speaks to the challenge that we have. Keith is I think he's been over there over 30 years, although you never know that. We have a couple of guys that have found the fountain of youth, and he looks like he's about 35, but he's been there almost that many years. But Keith and those kinds of folks we're losing through no fault of their own. They're in the retirement system. And so it's a matter of training and creating career paths and growing organically from within with the folks that we have. Because a lot of the jobs we do, although you may be a highly trained professional and in the appraisal world or the real estate world, you can't necessarily step right in and do what we do. So it's a matter of finding the right combination of new blood to come to the office, talented people, which we've attracted some, and then also training folks within to cross-train them to make the office more resilient in terms of as we lose some of these really good heavy lifters, so that there's somebody, a new Keith that Stella can call in a few years when he's gone. So I
want his number when the new Keith come in, please.
Yeah, he may have a job in the outside world as a consultant, right? So that's what we'll continue to do and find more and more ways. One of the things that we did was institute a new fleet of Priuses. We've saved a lot of money, over 50% in fuel costs and maintenance. Thinking outside the box, leasing our cars. We'll probably need less cars rather than more in the future. Just finding ways to administer the office in better ways. And I'd like to find you kind of touched on it, finding on ways that we can do a better job of outreach to particularly underserved communities that may not know some of the things that if you're a senior citizen, and we were trying to work with different agencies out there that deal with the seniors all the time, to find ways that we can partner with them to make sure if you deserve a certain exemption, whether it be a senior exemption or, God forbid, you've lost somebody in battle, or you're a first responder, you have a disability that there's an exemption that you qualify for. We want to make sure that those folks are taking advantage of that, because that's what it's there for, because they shouldn't have to pay $1 more in property taxes after the taxing authorities are done figuring out their millage and using our assessment as the basis for the property tax. They shouldn't pay $1 more than they have to.
Well, we got about a minute left. Another one of your accomplishments is you added social media for public outreach and education. How can the public get in touch with the property appraiser's office?
You go on hcpafl.org, I guess, or go on our website. You can you'll find us there. Google us. We're on Facebook. You can tweet us. We're tweet about us. We're on Twitter as well. So we're trying to communicate. We have a YouTube channel which we do informational videos about trim notice, about ag, greenbelt, and other things. So there are many ways we're trying to communicate with people the way they want to be communicated with.
No, definitely moving the office forward, and we wish you the best of luck in your election coming up this November. Bob Enriquez, thank you so much for being in studio today.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Stella. It's been a wonderful time.
Thank you. Also thank you to my lovely co-host, Stella Giudicelli, for joining me on this interview. A great interview and a great public official here in studio today. Bob Enriquez, Hillsborough County Property Appraiser. Learn more about him over at bobhenriquez.com, and also learn more about this show over at tampabayradio.com. All shows are available on demand, and you'll see that I do sell real estate. So if I can in any way help you buying or selling real estate, please consider me your resource and get in touch with me. The best way to get me is through my contact form at tampabayradio.com. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for TBBO Tuesdays, and you've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.